Yeah, so leaks are out.
Oh my god!
I originally didn't want to talk about this because lack of context, not trying to add unnecessary fuel to the fire, etc. You know, just trying to do my due diligence as a YouTuber, not just for the views and the clicks. But now that the quality versions are out, I can't even more. If everything I say in this video is proved wrong with the context of the full volume, I'll either take this down or make an update video. But for now, I gotta rant. Gloves are coming off in 3, 2, 1, go. I thought these 8 extra pages were honestly going to be like slice of life, maybe a little bit of character interaction, you know, small scenes, stuff for us as fans of the characters would love. That's why I didn't want to make a big deal out of it, and I thought those who were thinking that Isayama would rewrite the ending were blowing smoke out of their ass. But damn, Yams, way to make me look like a clown here. For real, this is me right now.
I was rooting for you! We were all rooting for you! How dare you!
Before I get too ahead of myself, let's go over what the leaks are. Number 1, Mikasa speaks to Ymir, and Ymir imagines an alternate reality where she doesn't jump in front of King Fritz and hugs her children instead. That may not have led to the Titan curse, but it's the only reason why Mikasa is alive now. It's time for Ymir to rest.
Okay.
Number 2, Mikasa has a kid with someone who is highly speculated to be Jean and visits Eren's grave.
Okay.
Number 3, a long time passes, enough for a parody to be developed very similar to how we see Marley with the cars and the high buildings.
I'm in danger!
Number 4, Mikasa dies of old age and this bulletproof scarf is still wrapped around her.
See, nobody cares.
Number 5, Parody gets carpet bombed to hell. And number 6, a tree similar to that one that housed the original hallucigenia is here again, so it's heavily implied that a new Titan curse is about to begin.
My disappointment is immeasurable, and my day is ruined.
Okay, first off, I think I can speak for myself and a good amount of people here. We were coping with the ending. We really were. What the fuck is this? I swear it's only the Jaeger's edgelords that are happy about this because they feel vindicated in thinking that yes, this is what you get for stopping Eren from rumbling the entire world. Because screw the very in-your-face themes of generational responsibility and how everyone was trying to find ways of not passing a shit world onto their children. Yeah, throw that out the window for a quote-unquote realistic ending. Seriously, stuff with your realistic ending. If you wanted realistic, Armin and the Eldians should have gotten mowed down by a hail of gunfire by the Marleyans here. And even then, I don't even know if it's because they actually think this ending is better or because they just had their hearts ripped out from the original chapter 139 and they just enjoy watching everyone else crumbling down with them. I genuinely thought we were just gonna get more character moments, like the Mikasa and Ymir pages. You know what? If you're gonna have the Ymir was in love with King Fritz thing, sure, I guess that can fill this in a little bit more. I didn't care for this plot because I still believe these panels where Eren frees her by speaking to her soul and calling her a human makes more sense with the idea that she would rather die than become enslaved to King Fritz. But it is what it is. If these pages are added, cool, whatever, let's move on. Even these pages with Mikasa showing her baby off to the grave of her first lover, weird, but you know what? People have had fascinations with epilogues and how many times Harry and Ginny porked. It's clear that Mikasa porked and had a child, whatever, I don't really care. I know that this caused a huge uproar on shipping Twitter, but I'm sorry, I don't really care for shippings in AOT that way. Even though I'm actually a stronger proponent for Jean and Mikasa, I really don't need them to have a child to be a better ship in my mind, nor do I think that these pages really put their ship higher than Era Mika from how it was portrayed in 139. For example though, a ship that I actually do really care about is ERWIN and Levi. I love them together to the point it's basically an obsession. But just because ERWIN died doesn't mean I think that the next biggest pairing, which is Levi x Hanji, has more merit. They can bang in the forest all they want, but to me, it doesn't mean Levi's connection to ERWIN is any less, and eyebrows will always be his one and only. Also, moblit and hanji supremacy. So whatever, Mikasa and family, moving on. Now, it was believed that these 8 extra pages would be more akin to that, expanding on a few character details, maybe a bit of dialogue, but generally carry the same tone of the original chapter. Oh, ho, 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 I have definitely become the entire circus for believing that. Maybe a long time into the future after Mikasa and friends have lived their long lives to ripe old ages, but parody gets bombed to hell. And also, the Titan tree is back. These are not character moments, but complete plot U-turns. This means that they were able to stave away violence for a few generations, but let's actually think about it. Everyone was already dead by this point. The Eldians can no longer become Titans. Yes, the island built up their military as part of their defense, but what else? Unless they launched another attack, what other reason could they have had to be destroyed like this? It's said that other countries wouldn't immediately be able to retaliate, but they sure as hell would have been able to before Mikasa died from old age. You mean to tell me it took 80 plus years to make airships that could drop bombs from the sky? They already had this stuff back in Marley. They might have to start from scratch, but it wouldn't take 80 plus years. It really seems like the only logical explanation was that they were just waiting for Levi and Mikasa to croak. Can't risk having an ackermann around, I guess. But don't get me wrong, there is a possibility of all of this happening. Just why are we seeing it like this? And let's get to the tree. Just speaking from my perspective as a POC myself, I really didn't like how the Titan curse was lifted, mostly because of its parallels in essentially saying, yay, you can cure racism by just removing that pointy nose or that slanted eyelid, apparently. But you know what? I was dealing with it. I was thinking, hey, this is somewhat different because Titan shifting is a very dangerous power. If Eren did succeed in breaking the Titan curse, that's more than anyone could have ever done on all sides. If the rumbling was done to bring them to that point, I could deal with that. But Isayama, in the very same chapter as this 2-page spread, decides to reintroduce it. I don't know if this is sequel baiting or not. I hope not, because a sequel would only be redundant in the ideas that AOT has already explored. But no, seriously, why was this here? In the same chapter as this. If you're going to reintroduce it, put it at the beginning of your sequel book. Same goes for the destruction of Paradis. Do not jam it into the same series where we journeyed along with the scouts, felt the heartache of the Eldian warriors on Marley, and experienced the hard-fought battles to get to this point. Doesn't work. It makes this feel super pointless. Because if these are the results, Isayama really turned the ANR theory where Eren destroys everything into the better option. And that's coming from someone who hated the ANR theory because killing everyone for the sake of survival should not be the only answer. Yes, I might be part of the cringe Vengers as they're called, but the Alliance had it right. Genocide is not the answer. Conflict may be unavoidable, but we still have to do our best to minimize it as much as possible. All of this makes it seem like Floch was super based, and I cannot accept that. Yeah, I liked it. It showed that the Alliance was wrong to stop Eren with no plan. They finally get some consequences for it. Okay, one, not really, because with this time skip, it could be assumed that the destruction didn't come until after Mikasa and presumably everybody else died. So actually no consequences to them at all. And number 2, so you're advocating for not stopping the genocide of the world just because they didn't have a clear plan on how to protect the island after that. We probably won't see eye to eye on anything because I think you're a little insane to think that when time is of the essence, you'd rather sit back and let the world burn just because you don't have a full-fledged plan on how to protect yourselves afterward. You know all this stuff about Armin being the next Tiber and the fact that it's because of the Eldians on Paradis that the rumbling stopped in the first place, right? You really think that people are going to be allowed to forget that?
None of this makes sense.
Isayama literally smashed a happy ending with a hopeless ending together, and it doesn't work. It's like he or his editor didn't have the balls to take away the happy ending that they gave the characters at the end of 139, but also they needed to show that something as terrible as the rumbling would not go unpunished. But it's fine, because no characters we knew were casualties of that, so Eren did protect his friends as he said he would.
If you are a pro clown and you're not using grease paint, you better get on it.
To do this, it really feels like he just wanted to burn it all down. Weirdly enough, I could almost understand it from how loudly disappointed a lot of people were. In a way, I could almost see him being like, you think this ending was bad? You haven't seen nothing yet. I don't know, I'm kind of laughing at this too. Like, we really got played as his audience, didn't we? Now, I'm just thinking out loud, but maybe he's trying to make us Mikasa and himself Eren, where we have to sever this bond ourselves, even though we mentally cannot. Or maybe he just wrote those extra pages to become the villain of the entire fandom, so we can be united in hating it together. If he alludes to either one of these things in his next interview, I might actually applaud him for that. I mean, I still love AOT, really. Without everything up to 138, I wouldn't have felt such highs and lows I've ever felt in my entire life. I still go back and rewatch or reread certain scenes just to feel all those emotions I was so caught up in the first time around. Attack on Titan is really one of a kind. As for a sequel, I highly doubt it's happening. It sounded like Isayama wanted to be free of Attack on Titan for quite some time, so unless someone is picking up the mantle, this is probably what we're going to be left with. And really, Attack on Titan explores so many themes of humanity, generational responsibility, and hatred that I don't know what a sequel could do that would be even remotely interesting to watch. Like, we already know the secrets of the Titans, so there's nothing new there. What good does milking it do? Ah, yes. Forgot about that. Thanks so much for watching. Like and subscribe if you haven't already. I know I've always tried to make my AOT videos with a more neutral stance, but this one, I don't know, kind of special, I guess. And like I said, if the full volume proves me to be wrong, I'll make an update saying, yes, I am the biggest clown in town and I accept that. I've already accepted it right now. Until then, I guess I'm off to write a bunch of Eruri and Mobihan smut fanfiction because thank God those characters at least kind of had their dignity towards the end.
The humiliation is too much to bear. There is but one way of honor. I must kill myself.